Hi everyone, Christine here at Christine's Craft Table, coming to you today on May 26th to give you an update on all of the crochet work I've been doing. It's been a while and I've been very productive, I think. But first of all, I would like to welcome some new subscribers. My channel's been growing slowly, and that's absolutely fine. I would like to welcome Edith K and Ivana Lai, Terry Rodriguez, Gabby 4509, Mama G Gear, Bella Tor, Jude Kalu, Ducks of Grand, Donna Ritchie, Jay Took, A Square Granny Lisa, Brandon Olguin, and Roseanne Salier, one of those two. Welcome everybody, and everybody else who I do not see, welcome as well. Welcome back, those who have been with me for a little while now. I'm so happy to have you as subscribers, and let's get started. So, today is a crochet update. Now, I hope you can find some inspiration here, or maybe just some helpful information. First, let's start off with my ball cap that I am modeling for you. This is my third ball cap of this pattern. Crochet, of course. Isn't that adorable? I just love the little ponytail holder. You don't even have to wear a ponytail, a rubber band. It just slides right through the hole in the back. It's very comfortable, just shades your eyes just enough. I love to drive with it, so I don't have to wear sunglasses because I've always got these glasses on, and those little sunglass shades just don't really work well for me. So I love these ball caps, and I will probably be making more. The pattern again is by Cabin Fever Crochet, and it's called Crochet Ball Cap. She has a great YouTube tutorial, and I like the very stiff brim. Now, I have not used any other yarn except for Lily Sugar and Cream. I noticed on her tutorial she is using a softer cotton because the brim looks a little bit more flimsy. The hat part also looks quite a bit more flimsy. So I recommend using Lily Sugar and Cream. I know a lot of people don't like it because it is so stiff, but it really works for a ball cap, I'll tell you that. And you double strand it here. So it's got the white is Lily Sugar and Cream, and the gray is Paint Box worsted weight. Paint Box recycled cotton worsted in steel blue. And both are 4 weights. It used 81 yards of the Lily Sugar and Cream and 39 yards of the Paint Box. And you use 3 different crochet hooks when you're working on this: a 3.75 millimeter, a 4 millimeter, and a 5 millimeter. And I recommend using something like a prim hook for this hat because of the nice pointy head on that. If you use a crochet hook that is more rounded, it just makes getting back into those, well, that's a bad example because it's such a big hook, but see, this is a lot more rounded. This is a boy, I think. Just makes it that much more difficult to work into those tight stitches. Also, one note is you probably, well, it really helped me to use a ergonomic handle as well. I started out using my Susan Bates. I don't know if that's the same. No, this is a bigger hook, but it's a Susan Bates and all aluminum. And when you're working into those tight stitches, I hold my hook like a knife. And this tip was just about giving me a blister there, trying to push it into the tight stitches. So when I switched over to the prim big difference. Not a problem at all. So yeah, you might want to pay attention to that if you decide to make the hat, which I highly recommend. I hope you will. So I give the pattern a 10 out of 10 and the yarn for this purpose a 10 out of 10 as well. Next up is a cute little eyeglass case I made. I actually made 2 of them, but I gave one to my mother-in-law, so I will pop a picture in of it so you can see what it looks like. This one is a sleeve style, and it's got a little button, and your glasses slide right in and out. And the other one was a wallet style. So this pattern is by it's called an Eyeglasses case by TLH Patterns from the Lazy Hobbyhopper. It's free on the blog page, and she also has a YouTube tutorial, and I will put links to everything that I'm talking about in my description box if you're interested in checking them out. So the yarn I used, I love. Isn't that so adorable? This was Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton print in the color pink, green, purple. It's an Aran 4-weight, and this used 61 yards. And it is super easy and just darling. I love the colors on that. It takes a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. And so, yeah, love the cotton, love the yarn, love the pattern. I will say something about the yarn though. I noticed I did a bigger, it was like a dishcloth using the print. It was a really pretty variegated, I don't know, different shades of blue and white. And I wasn't really crazy how it worked out in the longer pattern. It kind of came out like blotches in different places. But this short, you know, what do you call it? Not as wide. For this length, it's perfect because it just changes colors often enough, and that it pretty much takes on a striped look, but you don't get that blotchiness. Maybe it was just that colorway that had that problem, but yeah, really like the way it worked out in a small project is what I'm trying to say. Okay, next up. Oh, so the sleeve pattern, or the wallet style, was equally cute. I used a 4.5 millimeter hook for that, and the same yarn. It only took 58 yards, a little bit less. And I think for that pattern, I would use maybe a stiffer yarn, just because it's the wallet style, so the opening is much bigger than the sleeve, and it does have a button on it. It doesn't look like it's gonna open, but I think I would try it with just a little bit thicker or sturdier yarn than the Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton. Oh, so for that reason I just gave the yarn a 9 out of 10 on that pattern. The pattern is called Glasses Case by Kylie Keller, and it's available free on her website. I'll leave the link for that. Next, I got on a kick for a couple days and I did some dishcloths. And for some reason, I was just on the color green, and this color green just made me so happy. I also had this scrubby yarn that I was dying to use up. So this is one of the scrubbies. The pattern for the flowers and the 2 little scrubbies is by Creative Grandma, and it's called her Fancy Floral Dishcloth and Scrubby. Isn't that adorable? I love these. So this is the yarn I used was, I used 105 yards of Lily Sugar and Cream in white, and 112 yards of Yarn Bee Scrubology in green, 90 yards of Hobby Lobby Crafter's Secret Cotton Vintage green, and 44 yards of Hobby Lobby Crafter's Secret in white. So it's all 100% cotton. That was a total of 350 yards for all of this. It's four of these pretty flowers. I just kind of play with the colors and change colors whenever I feel like it. I think that might be one of my favorites. This one has a lot of scrubby in it, because that skein of, it was Scrubology, had so much yarn on it, it was taking forever to use it up. I like the dishcloth to have some of it, but not be completely made of the scrubby yarn. And then that's the last one. This is just the same pattern, but you cut off earlier and you make two, and then you sew them together. And that's the scrubby. And I also used a pattern by BagOday to finish up the last of the yarn. And this she calls, it a washcloth set easy crochet dish rag. And it was also a YouTube tutorial, and she has it available in written form on her Etsy page. And this is a 9x9 square. I just love that pattern, and it is really easy. And then it wasn't so easy with the scrubby yarn. I didn't realize that I was going to be needing to use it on scrubby yarn as well when I started out. And then there's the variegated cotton. But I was using a big enough hook that it wasn't too bad. I used a 6.5mm hook on all of these, just to make it easier to work on the scrubby yarn. And that makes all the difference when you're using scrubby yarn, is to use a slightly bigger hook than you need. And it's much easier to find your stitches. So these are 8.5-inch diameter, and these are a 5-inch diameter. So if you want to check out her patterns, I just love going to my kitchen. I mean, I'm not crazy about washing dishes, but I love washing dishes with these guys. They are so cute. Okay, on to my next accomplishment. Do I have another finished product? Two more finished items are two of the cowls, the crochet alongs I've been following for since January. And the first one is Granny's Magical Cupboard. I'm looking for it. This is with Jayda and Stitches. I make 4 squares a month, and then I'll be putting them together in a blanket. And this month's pattern is called Framed Granny Square. It's basically alternating a row of shells and then a row of double crochet, shell, double crochet, shell, and double crochet. And you switch up the colors and it makes them look totally different. There's another one, all purples. This is Big Twist in grape. This is Loops and Threads in amethyst. All Big Twist in white and grape. And then this is Loops and Threads, Crochet Comfort Classic in sage. The Big Twist, this is Karen Simply Soft in a dark green or dark sage, I think. I love that pattern as well. And this is a wonderful granny. You'll see I made an even bigger one for my next project. Very easy and very pretty with the color combinations. A few comments on the yarn I just want to say, because I've been using these 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 yarns every month now, and it lends itself to comparing them as I work. And I have to say, I am just loving the Loops and Threads Comfort Loops and Threads Classic. I have it written down. I don't know why I'm trying to remember. Oh no, I didn't. It's called Loops and Threads Classic Comfort Classic. It's an acrylic yarn. Here's one. This isn't one of the colors I use, but Soft Classic. It's their value yarn. I am just loving this stuff. It is bouncy and thick. It's wound really nicely, so it doesn't split, and it is just a joy to work with. And it's a great price too, so who doesn't like a great press? I would give it a 10 out of 10. And I still like the Caron Simply Soft, of course, just because it is so nice and soft, and the colors are so vibrant. I love this dark green sage here. And I will deal with the splittiness of the Caron Simply Soft simply because I love its other attributes, so I'll deal with the splittiness on that. But the yarn that I am just not happy with at all is Big Twist. This has really been a disappointment. It is so flimsy, it really lacks substance, and it splits so easily. I mean, I was trying to think of a good comparison. If these were paper towels, I don't know why I keep forgetting the name, but the Loops and Threads would be a Bounty. Big Twist would be Sparkle. You know, the cheapest value paper towel that you can find that as soon as you wet it, it turns to mush. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I will buy Big Twist again unless they're selling it for 50 cents a skein, and even then I might not even buy it because it's not a joy to work with. I'm sorry. I know it's my opinion, but it is what it is. So I just had to share that because for the same price, for less most of the time, you can get Loops and Threads at Michael's. Soft Classic Acrylic. And I generally get mine for $2 or just over $2 because I'll always have a coupon or a $5 gift voucher. So 354 yards. Now, I haven't laundered very many things in this, so I don't know what happens to it after multiple washings, so I'll have to see that. But just right off the skein, I totally prefer that to Red Heart Super Saver, to Big Twist, of course. Yeah. Okay. My next project is for Judy's Mal 2024, and this is also a Granny Square project that I am doing. Hers is not a Granny Square project, it's just you do a project based on a picture of a tropical bird that she shows us at the beginning of every month. At the end of the month, we send her our pictures of our projects, and she does a little drawing where she gives away a cake of yarn. So here is my square, and I will include a picture of the bird. Now, this one was probably my most challenging month because the bird is primarily black and yellow, and those colors were just not calling to me. So you'll notice a nice green background, and that's what I focused on. And then he has a very bright beak, and so I put in this raspberry color for the beak. But yeah, I like the end result here because I didn't go crazy on the yellow and the black. Just I did more black out here, but black's pretty neutral. That yellow just wasn't doing it for me. And that is Judy's Mal. Oh, this was also the framed granny square pattern. I altered it a little bit. I added a couple of rows of single crochet in there, the raspberry on this black border, just to get to my 10 inches. I'm doing all of my squares 10 inches. And at the end of the year, I will put them all together in a very interesting blanket. Okay, now onto my whips. I have several, the oldest of which, and not by choice, I just, I dropped it and now it's been the hardest thing to get back into it. My BagOday Shawl along. This is just parts 1 and 2, and I love it, and it's a lot of fun. I just am having trouble getting back to it, plain and simple. But I will be doing that because I'm getting caught up on my work. And for this, I'm using this Queensland Rainbow Beach Queensland collection. It's 100% wool. It's a sport weight. And I'll have more to say about it once I finish the whole shawl. But it's not bad. I mean, it's a sport weight, but with your tiny hook, it hasn't been a problem at all to work with. So I will be getting back to that for sure. My next whip is the second Sun Bunny I started. So this little guy, all he needs is his ears, and he will be done. Oh, and a tail. So he's multicolored. A little bit lopsided. I still don't have him down totally. I think my eyes are a little far back on this guy. But he will match a blanket, and he will be going to the Mountain States Children's Home. Dana at Dana's Wonderlust Crochet is doing a cowl called Children's Home Christmas Cowl, and you have the option of doing a blanket or a Sun Bunny, and I'm gonna do 2 sets, a matching blanket and Sun Bunny. So that's my first set, and I'll show you my second set in a minute. So this is Lion Brand Pound of Love, and Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn in the color Lakefront. And that is the pattern by Mrs. C's Cottage that many people know about. Next whip I just started, and I really had no business starting it because I have so many projects going, but I couldn't help myself. I saw this yarn again. I was putting it away actually, and I thought, I cannot put this away. I need to use it. So this is the yarn that I got from J-Hook Crochet in Israel, and she calls her yarn Troublemakers Yarn. And this is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. It's a fingering weight. Isn't that beautiful? I love it's orange. There you go. Orange with bits of red and brown. And then it comes with this little mini, also kind of the colors of the desert. So it's going to be a scarf, and this will be a border on each end of the scarf. And it's a pattern by Carmen Heffernan at Annie Design Crochet. She also has she doesn't have a YouTube video, but the pattern is free on her website. And so this is fun. This is an easy pattern, but I can already see that it's going to be beautiful. And thank you, Judy, again at Judy's Creations in Crochet for my little sack here, which is so useful. This is the second time I use it to hold the cake of yarn. By the way, I used the toilet paper method to wind up my yarn, so I don't dare take it out of here. But I don't have a ball winder, so you use a toilet paper, an empty toilet paper roll to wind your yarn on, and then you have a center pull when you're done. So that was very cool. First time I did it. It's a little bit messy, but I think with practice I'll get better. Although I don't use hanks of yarn very often, so I don't know how much practice I'll get. Anyhow, I really appreciate that little sack. So that's exciting because I'm really enjoying working on that. I told you where the pattern was found. Oh, so I got the yarn in a special edition box called Desert Vibes on J-Hook Crochet's Etsy page. And I think she still has one box left if anybody's interested. I don't know if all the colors are the same, but they're all inspired by her trip to the desert there in Israel. And I just love that yarn. And she also has a bunch of other goodies in the box as well. I did a whole video on that if you care to check it out. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, I am working on another blanket for the Mountain States Children's Home crochet along, or I'm sorry, she calls it Children's Home Christmas Cal by Dana's Wonderlust Crochet. And this one is, the blanket pattern is called the Gumball Afghan, and it's by Tony Lipsy, and it's available on Ravelry, and she also has it for free on her website. And this is so much fun and so easy. It looked a little intimidating when I saw the picture on the website because, you know, you have these faux cables, but I wanted to show you the whip to show you how cool it is to make them. See, you and all these rows are just, they're either single crochet or double crochet. And then the row that has these little loops in it is just a single crochet, and I think it's like every fourth or fifth space you do this 12-inch or 12 chain of 12. And then you go on with your single crochets and you have these all these little loops. And once you do 3 rows of these little loops, so here I'm on my second row of the yellow, then you braid them together. You just insert, I'll take the middle one and I'll insert the middle one into the bottom one. And then when I have one more, I'll insert that one into the middle one. So then you have the 3 braided, and then you just tack them down with a row of single crochets. And you get that wonderful look and texture. And the blanket is 6 rows of color separated by your main color, in this case white. And it's just the right size for a kid size throw. And then I'm going to make a sun bunny to match it. And my colors are, so that green, which I'm already finished with, this was Red Heart Super Saver in Spring Green. This is Red Heart Super Saver in Lemon. And I shopped my stash for the yarn, so I wouldn't have to buy any. This is Bluebell in Red Heart Super Saver. Loops and Threads in Pink. And Loops and Threads in Amethyst. And a lighter pink, this Premier anti-pilling everyday worsted. So this, I just think it's gonna look adorable. So these 4 plus the 2 that you already saw. Plus these 2. Isn't that gonna be adorable? And then I'll do a bunny to match. And oh, I just wanted to say one thing about this yarn. I am so pleasantly surprised by this white yarn that is from Hobby Lobby. It's called Crafter's Secret Big Idea. So it comes in these huge skeins. It's 810 yards of 100% acrylic, a 4-weight. And it's normally $11.99, but I think I usually get it on the 30% off week. It is so easy to work with. It is, and the stitch definition is just wonderful. It feels so soft. So this is Super Saver next to it, and I don't know if you can tell, but look how much fuzzier the Super Saver is than this Crafter's Secret. And this yellow is also Super Saver. So there you can tell they're both on either side of this, of the white Crafter's Secret. But I am just very pleased with that Crafter's Secret. I might even choose it over Pound of Love or Karen 1-pounders, which I kind of see the 3 of them as comparable as far as price and value. Anyway, I'm really loving that Crafter's Secret, so I wanted to mention that. And that's all I have. Oh, so the pattern for this Gumball Afghan, I told you who it was by. You can find it on her website or on Ravelry. And Dana actually has a discount code if you're, I think it's the first 40 people to use it. And it's kind of on the honor system. If you will make one of those for the CAL, for the children's home, then you have the pattern to make, you know, for yourself later if you want. Then you can get it for free if you use the code on Dana's channel. So if you're interested in that and supporting the drive for later this year, check it out. And that's all I have for you today. So I hope you enjoyed that. I am loving every one of these projects and all the whips, and I will get back to you when I have finished more. And thanks for watching. Talk to you later.